Okay, here's a kinetics question. Consider the reaction copper solid, oxygen gas going to copper oxide. We have some information here about heat of reaction. We're asked to identify which reaction would have a faster rate. Now, copper is a solid substance. Oxygen must interact with copper in order for this chemical reaction to occur. What kind of copper will cause this reaction to go most quickly? I would say it's copper power because the particle size or surface area is greatest. Okay, so if the surface area is greater, it's going to be more finely reacting. And with copper wire, the surface area is less. And for this, I would just like to point out a simple analogy that most people can relate to. If you try to burn a log in a fire, it's going to burn quite slowly because it has limited surface area and oxygen can get into that solid less likely or with a slower reaction rate. And then if you have kindling and small sticks will burn much more faster, vigorously, because oxygen can get in and around the small sticks, and there's more surface area for the oxygen to burn these sticks with. Okay, they're both wood, but the smaller items, the smaller powder, it has more surface area and can interact with oxygen more likely. Hopefully that makes sense when you think back to the dissolving lab where we had copper sulfate in large chunks. And copper sulfate dissolved into solution very slowly when you had large chunks. But when you had that same amount of material spread out between lots of different particles, which were small, the overall surface area is much greater, and these particles of copper sulfate could dissolve to produce the copper plus 2 ions and sulfate ions very quickly in water, because you basically have one reaction with the large chunk, but you have many different dissolving events when you have lots of different pieces of dust or very small crystals in a flask or a test tube, as we did in the lab. I hope that makes sense. The smaller particles have a higher surface area and the reaction is going to be faster. Okay.